Okay, here is the last couple piles here. So the first one is Fire Emblem Engage. This is my most recent Switch pickup. I did first impressions of this, and I'm really loving it. I'm still in the middle of it, probably about halfway through, and I'm having just a blast. It's so much fun. Very high recommendation from me. This is the Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series, and this is an absolutely amazing collection of two remakes of two Klonoa games. Two very expensive Klonoa games. Klonoa 1 was originally on the PlayStation 1, and Klonoa 2 was on the PlayStation 2, and they're both getting really expensive, especially the original Klonoa, but this is a really wonderful remake of the two. Only released in PAL category territories. I don't think it was ever released physically in the States. It is on the eShop, but a wonderful collection, and if you like platformers, you will love the Klonoa series. There's so much charm, and the music is fun. It's just a really good old retro style 2.5D platformer. So if that's what you're into, you will absolutely adore the Klonoa series. Tactic Ogre Reborn. I have not played this yet, but this is a remake of possibly another remake. I think it was originally released on the Super Famicom, then the PlayStation 1, and the Game Boy Advance, and the PSP, and now on the Switch, and this is the definitive version of this game. It's another tactical RPG, and really one of the ones that kind of started it all. This is a pioneer of the genre for sure, but really great and a precursor to Final Fantasy Tactics. If that's what you're into, you'll love this game. I know I will, and I'm looking forward to starting it soon. This is the Danganronpa Decadence collection. So it comes with 4 of the Danganronpa games. I've never played Danganronpa before. I'm usually not a big fan of the visual novel type experiences, but I've heard this is actually really good, and the story's really demented and kind of weird, and there is some gameplay kind of thing, almost like a mystery. I don't know much about the series at all, but it was on sale for Black Friday for half off, and I decided I would give it a try. I haven't opened it yet, but this one I might actually start sooner than the others, especially after a long day at school. It might be kind of nice to sit back and experience some weird, demented high school mystery stuff. This is Monster Hunter Stories 2, and I played a little bit of this. I just started it recently. This is the sequel to the 3DS Monster Hunter Stories, which was reviewed very well. And the graphics in this are beautiful, and I think it was just recently released on PC as well. But I started it, and I was listening to the music and looking at the opening couple of cutscenes, and I was blown away. I really was surprised with how good this looks and sounds on the Nintendo Switch. During Black Friday, it was on sale for $20, so I absolutely had to pick it up. I actually picked up 2 of them. I picked up one for my friend as well, so we could play multiplayer online. But really great game from what I've played so far, which is not much, so maybe it's not a great game, but it was reviewed pretty well. But what is a great game and not a good remake is Pokemon Mystery Rescue Team DX, and this is a remake of the original Pokemon Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team on the Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS. And I grew up with Red Rescue Team on the Game Boy Advance, and I loved that game. I played it to death. I beat it, and I had so much fun. And when I saw they were doing a remake of it, I absolutely had to get it. But upon getting it, I found out that it was a really kind of lazy remake, and with the Pokemon that you collect in the game, it's a dungeon crawler type game where you are the Pokemon and you collect and recruit other Pokemon friends, and they join your team. And in the original, you had little areas you could buy homes and biomes and stuff for them to live in, and you could visit them in these areas. So you could buy like a grass biome or a mountain biome, and you'd go and you'd visit, and it would be this whole big biome for you to explore and see all of your teammates kind of just living their life. And it was cool because there were so many of them, and it was always exciting to buy one and then visit it for the first time and then be able to collect new Pokemon for the first time. But in here, they got rid of it. The biomes are still there, but you can't visit them. It's just like a text box kind of thing, and it's just really, really stupid. Just a really lazy remake. I haven't opened it. I'm not going to open it. I had my fun with the original, and if you want to experience, in my opinion, the best rescue team of all of the rescue teams, get the original Game Boy Advance or DS version. Don't mess with the Switch. Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age for the Switch. I heard this was a really, really great port, an HD remaster of the PlayStation 2 original that's very similar to the PlayStation 4 remaster. So I went with the Switch, and I haven't played it yet. Well, I haven't played the Switch one yet. I played Final Fantasy XII on the PlayStation 2, and I couldn't really get into it too much. But, you know, it's one of those situations where I try to play it and I stop and just rinse and repeat. I do want to get to this at some point. I know it's pretty divisive in the Final Fantasy community, but I've also heard a lot of good things about it as well. This is Sayonara Wild Hearts, and I remember this made quite the buzz when it came out for a little bit, and it's a rhythm music kind of game. It's really good, apparently. I haven't played it yet, but I watched some streams and everyone really, really enjoys this game, and I got it for super, super cheap, and I had to pick it up, of course. But I love rhythm games like the Rhythm Heaven series on the DS and Wii, so I think this is pretty similar to that in some ways, so I think I will enjoy this. Kirby Star Allies, a very okay Kirby game from what I have heard. I played a little bit at my friend's house and I thought it was fun, but this was on sale for under $20. I haven't opened it, so yeah, it's a Kirby game. I probably won't play it just because I've heard that it's just very mediocre, and mediocre Kirby games I'm not the biggest fan of. I like the ones that are really, really good, as I'm sure most of us do. So I probably won't be opening this anytime soon, but maybe I will one day if I'm itching for a new Kirby experience. This is Shin Megami Tensei 5, and this is the Steelbook edition, which is super cool. I didn't get the big collector's edition, but this is... Oh my gosh, can I not close it? I'm not going to be able to close it. Okay, there we go. This is a beautiful, beautiful game. It is amazing that they got a Shin Megami Tensei game to look so good on the Switch. It's the 5th in the series, and I'm a big Shin Megami Tensei fan, and I gotta say, this really holds up. I think the story, from what I've played, is maybe not as dark as I would want it to be from a Shin Megami Tensei game, but I haven't beaten it yet. I'm probably about halfway through, so maybe it gets a little crazier the further you go in. But it is an amazing game. It's the first time it's in kind of an open world kind of setting. They kind of had the open world in the other ones, but it was like you were a little dot on a map that you would move around. This is like full 3D maps, and you can jump, and it's very vertical, and it really converted pretty well. I was worried it wouldn't play too well in the style that they were going for, but it does. And I have to get back to this game soon because it's super good. And if you're into Pokemon, but maybe you're wanting something a little darker, get Shin Megami Tensei 5. You won't be disappointed, and it's only on the Switch, which is crazy. I kind of wish they would port this to the PlayStation 5 just because there are some performance issues on the Switch, but it's nothing too hindering, and it won't impact your enjoyment of this game. But it's a lot of fun, very mature themes, and a great addition to the Shin Megami Tensei series. Clubhouse Games 51. This is one of my favorite games on the Switch. I remember this came out during either before the pandemic or right when it started, and it's just 51 games with unusually good graphics. This is great. I've played this so many times with my friends, and we always have a lot of fun. There's like Connect 4, there's a bunch of different worldwide games, and there's golf and solitaire, and just a really, really fun collection to always kind of have with your Switch on the go. Highly recommend. It's super cheap, and it's a great collection to have. A great traveling game. This is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. I got this due to the original getting so much praise, and when it came out on Switch, I had to give it a try for myself. And I played this for a while, and I had a good time with it. Usually, these side-scrolling fighter games are not my favorite. This one really was not any different. Didn't change that too much. It's a good game, but just not my cup of tea in regards to style. I just like the Final Fight series and stuff like that. I can't get into them. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm probably crazy. This is Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, the definitive collection of Monkey Ball games. This is fantastic. I love the Monkey Ball series. The original Monkey Ball 1 and 2 will always be my favorite. And this is probably the best collection of Monkey Ball games that there is. A whole bunch of mini games, a whole bunch of stages. The graphics look really nice, and there's a lot of fun little extras, like being able to play as Sonic and Tails in this game as well. And it came with a little slip cover and a art book kind of thing, which is kind of fun. But a really, really great collection that's on sale for $20 all the time. So definitely pick this up. It's also on other systems as well. Bloodstained was a huge surprise for me, and it's a game I've been itching to go back to for the past probably several months or so. I've been thinking about going back to this game, and I think I will. This is a game by Koji Igarashi, who did Symphony of the Night and the Castlevania games, and this is kind of a spiritual successor of sorts, and it is magical. I know there was some pretty bad performance issues on the Switch when it first came out, and I think they took care of those. I played towards the beginning when this came out, and I just kind of put it down for a while. So it's been a couple of years, and I want to get back to this. The music is fantastic, and the art is beautiful, and I was just having so much fun playing this. And now that I've beaten Metroid Dread and all of that, I'm in a Metroidvania mood that I think only Bloodstained can itch. So if you haven't played Bloodstained, I highly, highly recommend that you pick this up. I think it's still pretty cheap. I could be wrong, but it's a wonderful game, and I really hope that they come out with a sequel to Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night. Star Wars Racer and Commander Combo. This is Star Wars Racer and Republic Commando. I got this mainly for Racer. I played the Dreamcast and 64 versions all the time growing up. I had so much fun with them, and when I saw that it was getting a Switch release, I had to pick it up, and I've never played Bionic Commando before. I still haven't. I've mainly been playing Racer. But Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is just so much fun. If you're into Star Wars and you're into racing games, or even if you're just into racing games, definitely consider picking this up, because Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is a lot of fun, and it's a super fast, super fun racing game. Pikmin 3 Deluxe. This is my least favorite Pikmin game in the series, but it's still a very good game at that. I didn't like what they did. What I loved about the original was that you would collect ship parts, and then you would see your progress. Like, the ship would get better and it would get more abilities and stuff, and they kind of took that away in the second one. In the third one, they kind of brought a little bit back, but not really. Here you're just basically collecting food. You're not collecting fun items like in the second one, where you collect batteries and other cell phones and weird things. And here it's mainly fruit. You know, there's the occasional weird item that you'll get. You do get a cell phone at some point, I think. But it's a very beautiful game, and this is the definitive way to play Pikmin 3 with the extra story content that they added as well, and all the extra DLC content. So I have been playing this, and I have been enjoying my time greatly with this, but I wish it was harder. A little too easy for my taste, and I'm hoping Pikmin 4 kind of goes back to that original Pikmin 1 route, where there's maybe a time limit, or I don't know, some sort of thing hanging over your head that puts a little stress on you. I usually don't like that, but with the Pikmin games, I do. This is Kaze and the Wild Masks. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. I got this for dirt cheap, but it's one that I keep seeing all the time on the side. Apparently it's a pretty good side-scrolling platformer, and you can get this for like under $10 a lot on Amazon. I see it on sale all the time. And I know Metal Jesus Rocks did a video on this, or including this recently, and he said that it was a pretty good platformer, so if you can find it for under 10 bucks, definitely pick it up. I think any Switch game under $10 is worth a try. So this is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, and this is an 8-bit, I think a prequel of sorts to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. This is kind of, it's a side spin-off thing, and this is the second. There was the other one, other Bloodstained spin-off, the precursor to this game, but that game is crazy expensive. So I only have the second one. I think it was only released through Limited Run. I haven't played this. I heard it's pretty short, but I heard it's also pretty good as well. But after I play the original Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, I think I'm gonna pop this open and give this a play. You can get Curse of the Moon 2 pretty easily, though that's not too expensive. This is Rayman Legends, and this is fantastic. The Rayman Origins Legends games are just wonderful, wonderful, super fast side-scrolling platformers, and the art style is beautiful, and the music is great, and it is a fantastic Rayman adventure, and I really think the Switch here version is the definitive way to play Rayman Legends. Runs super well, has all of the content from the original release and all the DLC, and it even has a new mode here, and it's just so much fun. You can get it for dirt cheap. I think I got this for like $5 or something at GameStop used. Definitely pick this up. A high recommendation. Super Mario Odyssey, another perfect game, but a game that I don't love. This is not what I wanted Mario to be. It was a step in the right direction. Kind of closer to that 64 route, but too many moons, too many stars. You get them for doing everything. There was no... What I loved about Odyssey and Super Mario Sunshine in 64, that there were stages dedicated to the stars that had full-on routes, and it was a full-on stage, and it completely changed the world, and it was really, really rewarding. And here, I feel like that was kind of taken away. I mean, you have that in some aspects, but not to the extent of the other Mario games, but it's still a very, very good Mario game. It's really wonderful. I played and beat it, and I had a lot of fun doing so. A great game, and one that if you haven't played it, I mean, you definitely should. Okay, so the next game here is Pokemon Legends Arceus, and this was kind of my first foray back into Pokemon since Pokemon Black and White on the Nintendo DS, and I did play through Sword and Shield before this, but this was the first Pokemon game I actually enjoyed since Pokemon Black and White. I had a really great time with this. It's a unique spin on the Pokemon series, totally open world kinda, and it was really fun. I wish there was more towns. I wish there was maybe more stuff to do. It does get a little repetitive after a while, but I thought it was a really, really solid game. Or one that might very well be worth a lot of money one day. There's something about it that I think is going to be kind of hard to come by in the future. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, a big collection of all of the TMNT beat-em-ups from the past, and I have not opened it yet. It was on Black Friday, but I do enjoy the TMNT games. I also love the Battletoad games as well, so they kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, a very strong collection from what I have seen. This is Collection of Mana, and this is a collection of all of the Secret of Mana games here, and yeah, the first time we saw Trials of Mana in the United States was on here, and Yeah, a very, very good collection. I played through the Game Boy game a little bit, Final Fantasy Adventure, and yeah, very cheap. It's a very high quality collection, and I should definitely pick it up. This is Demon Throttle. This is interesting, one that I don't see talked about at all. This is put out by Devolver Digital. I got this from Special Reserve Games, and this is a physical only release. This will only be released physically, never digitally, which is very, very interesting to think about. So we'll never see this game again, supposedly. But this is a lot of fun, and it is hard. This is really hard. It's a shoot 'em up of sorts, and you play as a cowboy and a vampire, and you go around trying to kill the person that kissed your wife and did something to the vampire. It's crazy, totally crazy. It's a kind of 8-bit styled, and it's a lot of fun. I've had so much fun playing this game. You can still get it in stores. I think it's like $30. I think it's on Best Buy as well. Pick it up. Absolutely pick it up. There's no reason not to pick this up. It's a lot of fun, and this is probably going to be the only place that we see it ever again, supposedly. This is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, and I remember these games on the PlayStation 2. This is an HD remaster of the original Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, probably 7, 8 out of 10 platformer, 3D platformer. I haven't played this yet, but I got it for cheap, of course. Oh, this was such a disappointment. This is Mario Golf Super Rush, and this is probably the most vanilla Mario game I've ever played. It is lacking all creativity. The golf adventure RPG elements here sucks. It's really not fun, and yeah, not good. I'm longing for the day we go back to Mario Golf Toadstool Tour on the GameCube, which I absolutely love. This is just, it's not a good Mario Golf game. There's a decent amount of courses, but none of them have any like soul. It's just like green fields or forest or whatever. There's a couple of good ones like the Mario Odyssey level, and I think there's one other one, but just not really that great. Yeah, don't get it unless it's super cheap. Darius Burst EX Plus, another Chronicle. This is also a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, of course, and haven't played it yet. But the Darius games are wonderful. I've enjoyed most of the ones I've played, and I've heard good things about this as well. Now, one that I have played a lot of is Cruisin' Blast on the Nintendo Switch, and this is a remake port of an old, I think, arcade version. I don't believe this is a brand new Cruisin' game, but this is so much fun. This is arcade racing at its best. I love the Cruisin' series ever since I played them in the old Spaghetti Factory back when I was younger. They had a Cruisin' machine. I think it was Cruisin' USA or Cruisin' World or Cruisin' Exotic. I don't know. There's a lot of Cruisin' games. But I also have played the N64 version quite a lot. That one's Cruisin' USA, and these are just so much fun. Some of the best arcade racing experiences you can get. It's right up there with Ridge Racer. Just really, really wonderful, and I think it's still relatively cheap as well. So if you're only to get one racing game from here, other than Mario Kart, make it Cruisin' Blast. This is a blast. Alright, this is Astral Chain, and this is one that I don't see talked about much anymore. This is made by Platinum Games, and this made quite the buzz when it first came out. It was really, really good. Everyone loved it. And now I don't see too many people talk about it, which is kind of strange. So I have a feeling this is going to be maybe slightly harder to find one day. I haven't played it yet, of course, but I do want to play this, and this is a really cool action game where you have a being who's tethered to you, and yeah, apparently the story's pretty wacky and pretty good, and the art is fantastic, and it looks good on the Switch. Yeah, if you find this, pick it up. Absolutely pick it up, because I do think this is going to be a harder to find game one day. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and this is indeed the Ultimate Smash Bros. If you disregard the single player mode. This has all the characters, most of the stages. It's amazing. This is an amazing game, and the amount of content you get for $60 is out of this world. Dare I say, it may even surpass Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, maybe. If not, it's right on board with that. It even adds a pretty decent adventure mode. It's better than the one that was on the Wii U and the 3DS. Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the Wii will have the best story mode ever. I loved that thing. It was so much fun and really engaging too. But this one is fun. The adventure mode is fun. There's so much to do. I have not even come close to unlocking everything. I'm so bad at the Super Smash Bros. Games, but I love it because of the fan service, and I get every one that comes out. And it's really fun. And I also came with this little metal coin thing. But yeah, this is a great game, and if you don't own it already, what are you doing? Pick it up. Crazy fun party game as well. This is Wonder Boy Asha and Wonder World, also known as Monster World 4. And the reason why this one is not opened is because I heard it wasn't very good. The remake wasn't good. The original is, but I heard the remake was pretty lazy, which sucks. I love the Wonder Boy series, and 4 was never released in the United States. This was the first time it was, I believe. And yeah, it does come with the original, I think, PC Engine release on here as well. But the remake, the 3D remake, supposedly it was not too good. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, this is my original copy I bought day one, alongside the collector's edition that I bought after the fact. But I bought this one first, and Breath of the Wild was an experience. I had a lot of fun with it. It's not my favorite in the series, just because the story was pretty lacking. And some of the music that was in here was good and tasteful. The lack of music, shall I say, was tasteful, but I miss having music play all the time. No, it's a great game. It really, really is, and it deserves all the praise that it's gotten, and I'm super excited for the sequel, and I have a feeling that one's going to be more story-driven and a little more linear, which is up my alley for sure. Live Alive. I started playing this. This is a remake of a Super Famicom game. It was only released in Japan, and it's using that Octopath Traveler kind of art style. And I played a little bit of it, and I liked what I played. There's, I think, 8 different stories, 8 different people you can play, and they all have a different story, and supposedly they all intertwine at some point. But I've only played a little bit of it, but it was fun from what I had played, and I do need to get back to this. Capcom Fighting Collection. This took me off guard. This is one of my favorite collections of all time. This is a collection of a whole bunch of Capcom fighting games. I bought this mainly for Darkstalkers, which is an arcade release also on the PlayStation 1, where I played it, and I love that game, and I play it in the arcades all the time. And I put a decent amount of time into this collection. They're all emulated super well. And the way everything is organized reminds me of like a game collection from like the GameCube PS2 era, like Sonic Mega Collections or something like that. It's really well, and there's a museum in here with a whole bunch of art and music, and it's really, really great. Pick this up, absolutely pick this up. And you know, if you pick this up, you'll have like over 10 fighting games, and they come with their respective Japanese versions as well, which is super cool. And you'll have all these fighting games, and you won't need to pick up another fighting game. Huge recommendation. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I haven't played it. I played 30 minutes of it. Then I just moved on to something else. But then I played Engage for the first time and fell in love with that, and it makes me want to go back and give this a try. Oh, here's another Demon Throttle. This one's still sealed. I know, the collector in me had to get another copy of a sealed copy of this because it's only physical only. Yeah. WarioWare Get It Together. This was a surprise. I was not expecting this to come out. It's not my favorite. I don't really like what they did to the WarioWare things here, where you have set characters that you play as, and you play as those characters in the stages. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I liked how in the past each of the micro game was its own different experience. Like pick the nose and you controlled a finger, or you controlled an eyeglass and you had to look for a person, rather than, okay, you're playing as Wario or you're playing as a different character and each one has a different play style and you have to maneuver the stages with that. It just wasn't for me completely. It's still a very solid game though. I put quite a few hours into it and it is fun, but not my favorite. But I'm glad we got it. I'm glad they have not forgotten about the WarioWare series. Shin Megami Tensei 3. Now, this is a dark game. It's just really just a downer. This is a downer game. Downer. And it's you feel so lonely when you play this game. I'm at the very end. I haven't beat it quite yet, but I'm at the very, very end, and it could get pretty hard at times, but not crazy hard. Definitely not the hardest Shin Megami Tensei game I have played. But it's a solid game all around. Probably not the best in the series, but it's a solid one you can get for pretty cheap. If you like Shin Megami Tensei 5, or if you want one that might be a little easier to delve into, maybe look at Shin Megami Tensei 3. It's very linear compared to Shin Megami Tensei 5, but a very solid entry in the series. And you know, if you like the dark, lonely feeling, then give it a try. And last but not least is Streets of Rage 4, and this is the anniversary edition, so it comes with all the DLC. It was under $10. I had to pick it up. I've heard pretty good things about the Streets of Rage series. I've actually never played it for myself, but this is the newest one that was released, and apparently it was pretty good, so I picked it up. Maybe I'll play it one day. As I said before, these kind of games aren't my cup of tea usually, but every once in a while there's one that kind of grabs my attention, so this might be worth me trying out at some point. We'll see. Okay, that is the end of part 2 of my Nintendo Switch collection, and the final part, thank goodness. As you can see, I have a very big collection. I wish I had played more of these games, and in a lot of ways I almost wish it was more curated, because I have so many Switch games I don't have anywhere to put them. But you know, as I said in this part and the last part, you know, there's just something about the Switch that really encourages collecting, which is great if you're careful about it. But if you're like me and you're not too careful about it, then you just end up with a huge collection full of games that are still sealed and have not been played. And I think games really should be played, with some exceptions, you know. It's always fun to have the sealed game here and there, but when half your game collection is sealed, that means you gotta make some priorities, and I gotta work on my priorities here and start playing through all of my Switch games and to slow down on the buying. But this year is gonna be a big year for Switch, so I'm gonna be amassing quite a bit more, I am sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching these 2 parts. I know it was a long haul here, but what are some of your favorite Switch games in your collection? Do you have a big Switch collection? Do you have the same problem as me, where you just kind of pick up games and end up not playing them? Let me know in the comments below. But I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for all of the support, and thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.